Hello and welcome back to Bookish. This is the last night of Shaketube, and I wanted to make a video about the Shakespeare play I read this week. This week I read The Tempest, which Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse posted a video on earlier tonight, and you really should see that. It is in some ways, I think, the best of the Shaketube videos to come out this year. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the Shaketube videos from Lukash as well. This one really struck me as being really instructive and really good. And so I just wanted to come and share my relatively limited thoughts about The Tempest. And then, you know, if you haven't seen Jason's video, I encourage you to go over there and look at it. Please forgive the weird lighting. I don't usually shoot my videos at night. I wanted to talk just a little bit about one thing that related to The Tempest. Now, The Tempest, as I learned from Jason, is one of Shakespeare's last plays, and it's a complex play with lots of characters separated by scenes and by distance in the imaginary world represented on the stage. There are various plots afoot, not the least of which is Prospero's plot for revenge, but there are other plots afoot as well, including one involving Caliban and some of the drunken men on board the ship that Prospero wrecks for revenge. So in the end, Prospero gives up on his plan for revenge, I think in part melted by his daughter's love for Fernando, and then also by the intercession of the spirit Ariel. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, though, with The Tempest is this. Before Shaketube, and for most of my life, I've been reluctant to read plays, particularly Shakespeare plays. To me, the plays were meant to be performed and not to be read. And so I think I kind of used that as an excuse not to read them. And what I've learned, this Shaketube, is that a lot of Shakespeare's plays read really well. And you don't really lose anything, I don't think, if you're careful and read carefully. I don't think you lose anything necessarily by not seeing them act. As a matter of fact, you might get a more genuine reaction to how you feel and what you think about the plays if you're not seeing the actors and the director's interpretation of the words. But The Tempest, I think, might be a little bit different. In part because there are so many characters and there are so many different things going on. I think that the Tempest might be better seen than read. And my example is going to be, and I'm going to read a bit of it to you, from Tempest, Act 2, Scene 1. In this scene, several of the men who are on board the ship that Prospero used magic to wreck and bring to his island so that he could exact his revenge on his brother, several of the men have made it to shore and are having a conversation. And during that conversation, Shakespeare includes, you know, a really quick kind of back and forth conversation between four characters, with two of the characters frequently speaking in asides to one another. And I found this difficult to follow. So here's the scene. See Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, and others. Gonzalo to Alonso, beseech you, sir, be merry, you have cause. So have we all, of joy of our escape, is so much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort. Alonso, prithee peace. Sebastian, aside to Antonio, he receives comfort like cold porridge. Antonio, the visitor will not give him over so. Sebastian, look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike. Gonzalo to Alonso, sir. Sebastian, one, tell. Gonzalo, when every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer. Sebastian, $1. Gonzalo, dolor comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you purposed. Sebastian, you have taken it wiselier than I meant you should. Gonzalo to Alonso, therefore, my lord. Antonio, fie, what a spendthrift is he of his tongue. Alonso to Gonzalo, prithee spare. Gonzalo, well, I have done, but yet. Sebastian aside to Antonio, he will be talking. Antonio aside to Sebastian, Which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow? Sebastian, the old cock. Antonio, the cockerel. Sebastian, done. The wager? Antonio, a laughter. Sebastian, a match. Adrian, though this island seems to be desert. Antonio, ha ha ha. And Sebastian, so you're paid. Anyway, that scene goes on like that for some time, and that's my second or third time reading through it, and I think I understand more with the third time, but I can't help but think that I'm missing some of the humor, some of the wit, some of what Shakespeare intended the scene to be in terms of characterizing that large number of men who are a part of the scene, and it's somewhat confusing. There's an Antonio, there's an Alonso, there's an Adrian, there's a Sebastian, there's a Gonzalo. And they all speak, sometimes over one another with asides, and sometimes too only one character about something specific. So this is not a fault I'm finding the play. The play was meant to be acted, but it does kind of bring up an issue that, like I said, I've thought about for a long time. Should some of Shakespeare's plays only be seen acted? Anyway, that's my thoughts about The Tempest. Like I said, go check out Jason's video. It's really good. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.